I think one of the worst decisions by Kanashiro when it relates to the Blue Lock manga is the creation of the Blue Lock NAO stat system. Now, in theory, it sounds great, right? Because we can see the stat score of our characters in relation to other characters and determine where they excel, where they don't. But that's still an issue. Issue number one, we have no way to feasibly calculate this stat score using actual math. I have gone through hours of research and tried to find a way to determine how he calculates these numbers, and I can't find a single way he does that. Not to mention, this stat total here is not applicable to these 6 numbers here. These really mean nothing in relation to this. These numbers don't total up to an average, which is this number. That's not how that works. This number is just whatever the fuck he wants it to be. And that's the same for these numbers. There's no way to calculate how the characters are scored. Oh, and if you thought this was bad, this is the full skill parameter sheet for a character. All these numbers total up somehow to some of these, and then that stat total, which, again, I've done the research. I do not know how it's calculated. There's literally no way you could go through and feasibly get these numbers and that stat total from any of these. It's not possible. He just makes up whatever numbers he wants, which is fine, right? You could just make up whatever numbers you want, but that's not where the biggest issue comes in. The biggest issue for me is that not every character got one of these, and we don't even have ones of current characters who did receive these. The last time we got the skill parameter sheet from main teams, of course, was going into the Ubers game. However, we've gotten specific characters outside of just this general introduction that were listed at the end of every volume. So characters like Kaiser, Lorenzo, Corona, Charles, they were included at the end of volumes and not stated directly here. But that's another issue. Why would you create this skill parameter sheet and style for the Neo Egoist League and then not give it to every character, and also not give us the final ones of them going into the end, the last game, the final biggest game? A lot of people like to use these in debates, which is fine, but we don't have anything for characters like any of PXG's team aside from Charles, and we don't have anything for current like Bastion München. Hell, Hiyori doesn't even have one. In fact, we know more about Kyor Jin's stats than we do about Hiyori's. Why would you introduce this concept and not see it all the way through? In my opinion, this concept was essentially a waste and just caused too many issues in the community as opposed to bringing light to something that it should have done. Bottom line, poor execution.